All right, well, when we think about that sales process, when we think about how we can bring our very, very best to what it is that we're doing, there are two ways to look at it. I can look at it and ask myself, well, what is the right technique to try to accomplish this over here? Or I can look at it and say, what is the right purpose to have in mind in the first place? And I'm going to suggest to you that that purpose is so important. And if your purpose is right, your technique is much more likely to be right. But I can tell you this, if your purpose is flawed, all of the best technique in the world is not going to help you. So part of that technique is in preparing your mind for being the very, very best professional that you can be. Now, one of the things that's difficult about new home sales is that the conversations that we get into are oftentimes 60 to 90 minutes long. And so we ask ourselves the question, oh man, what do I do? How do I get mentally prepared for a conversation that's going to be 60 to 90 minutes? I mean, that's really tough to do. I want to make a suggestion to you. Don't think about it. Don't think about what's going to happen for 60 to 90 minutes. You really only need to think about 12 seconds. There are a critical 12 seconds that are going to launch you into the right direction. What I'm talking about here is the 5 seconds before the customer walks through the door and the 7 seconds after you greet them. Now let's break that down and talk about why it's so important. I'm going to start with the 7 seconds. You see, when that customer walks through the door for the first time, they're going to make some significant decisions whether you want them to or not. When you first walked in the room today, you looked around and you were sizing that up. You were sizing the energy in the room and trying to get a feel for what it was like. We do this all the time. We walk into a grocery store or a restaurant, a cocktail party, or someone's home, it doesn't matter. And there's a described and defined energy there. We take this all in the subconscious, but we capture it all. But the energy more than else is defined by the person that you talk to. When you walk into a room and you meet somebody for the first time, that energy level is palpable. And you will start to adopt that right from the very beginning. Well, here's what's going to happen. Your mind kicks into gear. You're thinking without even thinking. You're thinking subconsciously as you take in everything that you see. But you meet somebody for the first time, and in the first 7 seconds, according to the psychologist Albert Morabian, in the first 7 seconds, you are going to make your first significant decision. And you know what it is? Do I like that person? It only takes 7 seconds, but that's what we do. We do it subconsciously, but we do it. In 7 seconds, we decide whether we like that person. Now, this is so critical because if I like you after 7 seconds, now something called the halo effect kicks in. If I like you after 7 seconds, I will continue to like you thereafter. So now all through the relationship building time and all through the discovery time, and as we launch into the sales presentation, that likability will pay off. It will carry through. Unfortunately, the converse is also true. If I don't like you after 7 seconds, I will continue to not like you until you can get me turned around. So we see that those 7 seconds are really, really important. Now, you might look at it and say, what can I do to maximize the 7 seconds? And well, you should. You should be thinking about your tone, about your energy level, about your level of engagement. You should be thinking about facial posture, the idea of lifting the face and showing the energy in the face and smiling even before you see that customer. All of these things are wise, and all of these things are things that you should do. But if you really want to get that first 7 seconds right, may I suggest to you that the most important thing you can do is to concentrate on the 5 seconds before they come through the door. You see, if you want to get those 7 seconds of likability right, think about those 5 seconds as mental preparation for the 7 seconds. I don't want to just work on that file until the moment the customer walks through the door. I don't want to wait to get off the phone call until they're standing in my office. No. I want to be able to set everything aside, close the file, shut down email, cease the conversation, hang up the phone, to be able to look at it and say, I want 5 solid seconds to be prepared for what's going to happen next. I want to use those 5 seconds as what I refer to as a pre-shot routine. It's a golfing term that great golfers will go through and make sure every single time they're going through that routine to make sure that they are 100% fully prepared for what's going to happen. So you'll look now, you'll take some time to be thinking that through, and you've got some of this in your notes, but I want you to commit to it. I want you to commit to how you're going to invest those 5 seconds in order to ensure a very healthy 7 seconds thereafter. You see, here's the thing. You don't need to look at what's going to happen for the next 60 to 90 minutes. You just want to start strong. You want to concentrate on 12 seconds. They are the most important 12 seconds of the entire transaction. You get those right and you set up the stage for everything that's going to happen next. Let's go to work on the first 12 seconds.